If you're watching one of my vibe coding videos, you might think that I know what I'm doing, but let me let you in on a little secret. I'm not a developer by any means. I am just a guy who knows how to use no-code tools like Webflow, and when AI coding started getting more popular, I decided to add it to my workflow. But over the past 2 years, I have been able to successfully launch numerous vibe-coded projects with confidence, and it all goes down to the way that I fix bugs. So in this video, I'm going to show you a chart, which is right in front of you, for exactly how I fix bugs. Then I'm going to start a brand new project from scratch, encounter bugs because, well, it happens in every project. Then you're going to understand the exact way that you should go about so that you can confidently build, launch, and maintain your vibe coded project. Let's get right into it. The first thing that's going to happen is you're going to run into a bug. And one thing I want to mention with this is that it is going to happen all the time in any project, no matter how good or bad of a developer you may be. You will encounter bugs. That's the start of this video. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is backups. The key to confidently and successfully vibe coding is backups. At any point when your project is working, save a backup. Now, if you haven't saved a backup, perhaps you forgot, we all do it. When you run into a little bug, save a backup there because debugging can often lead to the bug getting worse. Little bug, few console errors, save a backup even there that you can revert back to. You've saved a backup, you have a bug, your project isn't working. You need to collect as much context as you possibly can and send it to AI. What do I mean by context? Well, that could be console logs, that could be server logs, that could be code snippets. That could be a screenshot of something not working as it's supposed to work. Anything that's going on, you need to collect all of it and give it to AI. My recommendation to you is do not tell AI how to fix it unless you're 100% sure. Just give it a big data dump of all of the problems and let it know what isn't working. And allow AI to be the smart person in the room and figure out why it isn't working. Whether you're using Cursor, Claude Code, Windsurf, Replit, whatever it may be, take that context and send it to AI. I'd say about 50% of the time, that'll fix the bug. Your next step, save a backup and continue. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about this loop right here. What happens from collect context and send it to AI to the bug actually getting fixed? So often, the other 50% of the time, the bug isn't going to get fixed. It's going to continue. In fact, it might even get worse. When that happens, if it gets like way worse, just revert to your backup and try again. But typically, all you need to do is add more context, collect the context, and send it to AI again. On the second go, you might fix the bug, in which case, save the backup and continue. But this loop can go on and on and on and on for 30 minutes, an hour, all day, a week even. And that's okay. You need to accept that because you are currently writing code with AI. I cannot possibly explain to you how amazing that is. We all take it for granted. It is amazing. The fact that people like me are able to code projects without having any sort of education in coding is absolutely phenomenal. So accept it, take a deep breath, and continue this loop of fixing bugs. Enough yapping, it's time to fix some bugs. I'm going to start a project right here, and you're going to get to watch how I fix bugs live, how I give AI context. So let's get right into it right now. All right, so I've started my project, I've cloned it, and so far I haven't run into any bugs. So far, so good. Back to building. Okay, so I just ran into my first bug, and once I fix this, there's going to be another bug. But let's go to our chart and take a look at what we should do now. So we've encountered a bug. Do we need to save a backup? No, because this is really the first prompt that I've done. My project just got started, so the backup is the starting point. So skip the backup. Now we need to collect context and send it to AI. Lucky for us, we have right here from Next.js this So it's the only bug we're encountering. That's all the context there really is. So I'm just going to copy this bug. I'm going to go over here to Claude Code. I'm going to paste it in, and honestly, that's all I need to do. I don't need to say it's not working. It can tell that it's not working from the fact that I'm sending it a bug. So now we're going to let it fix that. There we go. That bug was fixed. But we just ran into another bug right after that. So we said to use shadcn, we want this to look good. It doesn't look good. In fact, what we're looking at right now is raw HTML. That is obviously not what we want. So let's go back to our chart right here. We've encountered a bug, and again, we don't need to save a backup. This is the absolute beginning of our project. Carry on. Collect context and send it to AI. Okay, so I'm going to go back here, and the first thing I'm going to want to do is check my console. So I'm going to right-click. I'm going to click Inspect. I'm going to open the console, and there is nothing. Great. Okay, so we have no context. What I'm going to try to do here is I'm just going to explain what is going on. Currently, all I see is raw HTML. I'm not sure why. Can you investigate my setup? Really, what I'm trying to do here is I'm not trying to steer my AI in the wrong direction by trying to give it some conclusion as to why this is happening. I am just saying innocently, hey, it's raw HTML. I don't know why, but can you look into it and fix it? And I'm going to set Claude Code to plan mode so that it can take a look at what's going on. So let's see what it's going to do. All right, so it says issue found missing Tailwind v4 configuration file. You're using Tailwind v4, but you do not have a configuration file. Okay, I don't know any better. So yeah, sure, let's go for it. Okay, so take a look at that. Just like that, we went through this loop. It was as simple as collect context and send to AI, bug fixed. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to save a backup. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell it to push to main on GitHub. It's still in development. If you are using a live project, you shouldn't just push everything to main, obviously, but in this case, I'm going to. All right, so there we go. I've now pushed it to main on GitHub. So now I can go back to my chart and do the next step, which is continue. Now I can continue building my app knowing that if I run into a bug, if I break something, I can just go right back to this point where I have a working homepage and I have some nice looking authentication pages. So time for me to continue my project. Okay, so now it says it's done, but once again, I have run into a bug. And so that's what I'm trying to make clear in this video is that it literally happens constantly, but if you follow this flow, it's really not all that deep. So again, we have encountered a bug. I just saved a backup. I don't need to save a backup. So I do need to collect context and send it to AI. Let's go ahead and do that right now. So again, it says 1 out of 1. That's the only bug. Local storage is not defined. Let's copy that and paste it into AI. Super quick tip if you're using Claude Code or pretty much any AI coding tool is you want to keep the chat shorter. So when one thing is done and then you're moving on to something else, it's good to end the conversation, start a new chat. So in this case, it's exit and then Claude, then continue. Because if it gets cut off mid-task, it's never a good thing. So I'm just going to paste in that error again, and I am going to send it. Okay, so in this case, we have sent it to AI and the bug still exists. Or, well, I guess it's a new bug, but point is it's not working. We're not fixed. Add more context. So to go back here, there is a new error. And again, it's just one error, so the only context is this error. So again, I'm going to paste it into AI, and I'm going to send it. All right, so now it says fixed, and if I look here, I have no errors in my console, and everything seems to be working. So guess what? Going back to our chart, bug fixed, save backup, continue. I'm going to say push to main, just like that. We are going to do that. We're going to end the chat, and we are going to start another chat. All right, now let's go ahead and test out our auth to make sure it is working. Okay, so our auth is not working. It says signups have been temporarily disabled. What? I don't know why. So again, collect context and send it to AI. Let's go ahead and copy these console errors over here, send it. And then in this case, I'm not just going to send the errors. I'm going to say that I tried to sign up, it didn't work, and I don't know why. Please try to figure it out. So just to step back over here to our chart, again, we've encountered a bug. We just saved a backup, so we don't need to do that. I just collected context and sent it to AI. So now it's either going to fix our bug or we're going to go through this loop one more time. Okay, so something that I want to shout out here is you should obviously always read what your AI is doing. In this case, it said root cause identified. The error message, please contact the site owner, indicates that MemberStack signups have been disabled in your dashboard. I never did that, and I actually know that you can't do that. I can't just disable signups like that. In this case, I'm going to let it know that's incorrect, and I'm going to let it know to try and figure out something else. And perhaps to add more context, I'm going to say, can you please add more console logging? So back to our chart, we collected more context and we sent it to AI. So now it says may not reflect the actual issue. We need to add console logging. Yes, please. That's exactly what I said. Now it has created a new error, and in this case, back to the chart, I'm just going to collect the context and send it to AI so that we can fix this error before fixing our bigger error. All right, got rid of that little error. So now back here, I'm going to go ahead and try again. Okay, so now we got a whole bunch of different errors, which is excellent because, like I said, we need to get more context and give it to AI. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy absolutely everything that I can. All right, so now I have just pasted this mess of a console into AI, and I'm going to give it plan mode and let it try to figure out now, hopefully with this new context, what the problem is. You'll notice that I didn't try to explain it. I didn't try to steer it in any direction. I just said it's not working. Here's the context. That's it. Obviously, it wants me to fix it. Okay, so I just figured out the root of the problem. So it is back to telling me that something is disabled in the dashboard, which doesn't make any sense because I didn't disable something. But if you looked right there, right before I refreshed, this public key right here didn't have the SB in it. That means it was trying to use a live mode public key. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that additional context and say, hey, now I just noticed the public key is a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and say that. I'm going to say the public key should actually be this. Perhaps that's causing the issue. And I mean, the app ID should be the same, but regardless, I'm going to say this is the app ID. And now that is a thing that we've just unlocked. We've just seen, okay, something different is going on here. That's the key while debugging. It's just looking for weird variables and weird things that are going wrong. So now Claude says problem identified, the wrong public key is being used. That is correct. So I was using a live mode public key on a project that isn't set to live mode. That right there seems like it's probably the cause of our problem. So let's go ahead and pop this open again and wait for Claude to fix it. Okay, now it says I've updated the public key correctly. Let's go ahead and try it again. Now I'm gonna hit sign up, creating account, and just like that, sign up was successful. Now we're getting a new error that we're about to fix. But if I go back to MemberStack over here and click members, I think we're going to see right there this new member, which was created. So now we have two errors right here. So I'm going to say it is working now, but we have two more errors. And then I'm going to paste these in and hopefully we can get it working, in which case you've been able to watch me fix quite a few bugs. All right, so it fixed it. Now we can actually use the app and it looks like it's working, but there's just one probably small error that I'm just gonna paste it in and send it. All right, so now on refresh, as we can see, this is working. I'm logged in, we have no more errors. So going back to our chart here, we need to save a backup and then continue. All right, so we just pushed to main and we have made a ton of progress on our project. But as you can see, it didn't come without its hiccups. What you just experienced isn't something that I just crafted so that you can watch me fix bugs. I started a project in the exact same way that I always start a project, and I always run into certain bugs. So hopefully this video showed you the exact process that you should follow as a non-developer in order to get your vibe-coded projects working so that you can confidently launch them. I hope this helped you, and I will see you in the next video.